WMC Memphis, WMFS HD2 Bartlett Memphis, part of the Memphis Sports Network with 92.9 FM ESPN, ESPN 790 AM.
The views and opinions of the hosts or guests of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of the management or staff of Intercom Memphis.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me. Where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time, take a family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Barton Power Sports. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790, and this is going to be a special show. It is not Open Mic Saturday.
We always have special
Yeah, we have
shows.
special shows.
We always have special
And anyway, you hear those the first voice of they dressed alike this morning.
Mom dressed us alike this
Daryl
morning.
and Daryl show.
Yeah.
Daryl and Daryl.
We're the ones in camouflage. This is an outdoor show.
I've got on my Outdoors with Larry Ray shirt, though, see? So,
You win.
I win,
Okay.
that's for sure. You win again. But Gene Smith.
Good morning.
Good morning, Gene Smith. You recognize that deep-throated voice right there? That's him. Yeah. And of course, Dave Gabbert, the Minister of Propaganda for the TWRA out of the Jackson office, but really lives Lexington. Is that your? Lexington is his post office box number. It is BR 7453.
Yep.
He
And
lives
a
next
half.
door to Junior Samples. If
and
y'all
it-
didn't know that. But,
It doesn't seem like it's the first Saturday of June.
well, it does to me. It feels like the 8th Saturday of June. So,
And
but we're going to talk fishing rodeo
Yeah.
on this show. We have Guy Trebo, the webmaster himself, in with us, taking notes, and we'll post a lot of these things on our website, and we'll talk throughout the show. But today,
if we was giving away prizes today, maybe Guy could have gave away a free virus.
yeah, a free. I don't think. Yeah, he's got plenty of. No. But we've already had some rodeo action, and we want to get this guy in here right now because really he's a lame duck. He is out of here. July 1st is so. I guess John Charles Wilson, June 30th is your last day technically.
That's correct, Larry. June 30th. It's coming close, but
How do you feel about that as being ex-president of the Agri Center?
well, they're going to keep me on a little while for another couple of years to do some consulting work. So I'm going to be around. I'm just not going to be making all the decisions, but looking forward to it. Need to spend some time with my wife, and
Yes.
I told her I'd give her a month.
That's all right. Here we go. Now we're rolling now at 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. So John Charles Wilson. President of the Agri Center, longtime friend of us. Sorry I couldn't make your retirement party. I understand that it's still going on.
He was doing his mandatory 48.
You're too much. But John Charles has been a vital part of the outdoor community here because when he came in, fishing rodeos became part of his programs that he wanted to do. And explain that to us, John Charles, a little bit about the fishing rodeos at Ketchum Lake is a wonderful. Of course, I know that's my favorite name for a lake. Every time I write it, my spell check comes on and says, this is not right. But
my director of marketing, Sue Sigler, named that lake.
Yes.
Lake. And, we had some lakes that we were doing research on at Agri Center, and they had been abandoned when I got there.
Yeah.
The research was already over with, and it was just something that was sitting there. It was growing up, and I said, look, we need to do something with this. And I said, let's start having a pay fish operation or something, and we started into that and with our catfish, and then it evolved in some fishing rodeos, and we had the greatest time and have been having the greatest time with these young anglers that come out twice a year.
Twice a year.
Yeah, and sometimes we have, when we can get it done, a handicap rodeo in the middle of the summer, and it's just been tremendous, the outpouring of volunteers that come and help with it. And this one that we had, this past one on May 21st.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I tell you, the weather was beautiful.
Yes.
The fishing was great. The wind was calm. We had 140 young anglers in the 10 and under age group, and they all brought brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and moms and dads and grandparents. I bet we had 500-600 people around that lake.
The lake.
Thank goodness that we had used the large lake that we have out there to put our catfish in.
Because you wouldn't have had room for everybody.
Wouldn't have had room. I was really worried about ssafety because of the number of people that we had.
Yeah.
And so it was a great day.
And this is John Charles's rodeo, which is spring, kind of kicks off the rodeo season. And people say a fishing rodeo. They don't understand what that is. And we're going to explain that a little bit later. But not only the kids have so much fun, and yours is the kickoff event, and you said they caught fish. Give me some results over. He's got all sorts of.
Did they catch fish?
Did they catch fish?
They caught 2,000 pounds of catfish. They caught a ton of catfish.
A ton of catfish.
Absolutely.
And that lake is about how big?
Well, the one we were fishing on is about a 2-acre.
2-acre lake. Yeah. It was surrounded by people, lots of kids and everything else, and 2,000 pounds of catfish.
I mean, it was incredible. These are some of the numbers.
All right, give me some numbers over there.
13, 11, 5, 10, 12, 17, 10, 9. But the winner was a young lady that is actually 6 years old.
Okay.
And in the 10 and under, and her name is Kaylee Spradley.
Okay.
Hope Kaylee was going to be with us today.
Yeah, we were trying to get Kaylee, but she hadn't made it yet.
But she caught 21 catfish. And these aren't little catfish. These are 1.5 pound, 2 pound catfish or larger.
And she caught 21, so we know she caught over 20 pounds of catfish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No question about that.
And some big ones in there, too.
They were big ones in there. And, of course, we only let you win in one category.
Yeah.
Most fish caught or the largest
we
fish
do,
caught.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And we measure the fish as far as the largest. We don't have time to weigh that many fish. But before you go out the door, you fish, they do weigh them because we want to know what we're taking out of the lake.
Right.
And we actually took 2,000 pounds of catfish out of that lake in the 10 and under and 11 to 15-year-old age group.
That is just amazing.
Had 140 kids in 10 and under, had 75 11 to 15-year-olds. And so it was an incredible day. A lot of help, a lot of prizes. We gave away thousands of dollars of prizes.
You did. Your sponsors and your donors just...
Yeah, TWRA, Trustmark Bank, Agri Center Board of Directors, and that pitched in to help make this a special event, and it's growing every year. We just can't say enough about it.
So now you've talked to John Butler. This not going to end, is it?
No.
You've told John he's got to.
John's going to keep it going, and as I said, I'm going to still be around, so I may have to call the shots on these kind of things.
I think you need to, John Charles.
John couldn't be with us today. He's down with the county commissioner, and somebody had to come do this.
Somebody had to come do this, and John Charles really, we enjoy having him. So, how long were the Agri Center president again?
16 years.
16 years, and your background.
I'm a farmer, full-time farmer, and
have you ever caught a fish? John
Have I ever caught a fish?
Yeah.
I love to fish. I've been tarpon fishing, and I love to do that. So.
Pond fishing and things. So these kids, I imagine, were just like, and we talk about as we get into these rodeo events, all sorts of bait. I always like the bait they use. I mean, these kids come with, their parents, their guardians, their neighbors, single parents, come out to these things, and they have some of the most amazing. Here they come with their wagons.
Yeah.
the
wagons is what I like.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
have the wagons.
Yeah.
They're out there, and their parents are over here sitting on a board, mixing up stink bait.
Stink bait.
You know, they have their own design for their stink bait.
Oh, yeah.
So they're out there doing stink bait, and people were using shrimp, and they were using some of them that really didn't understand catfish. They were using artificial bait, you know, and so, but.
We know that, yeah.
And, you know, it was really incredible. This was Cayley Day. Cayley Spradley was the winner of the most fish caught, and the second place winner was Cayley Almira.
Oh, come on.
Absolutely, Cayley's. And then the first place longest fish was a 24-inch catfish, 2 feet long, massive fish.
Yeah.
And the second place was a 23.5, and we had a tie in that, and so we had to weigh to break the tie on that. And that was Antoine Willis, and he won the tie, won by a half pound over the other fish. And
remember these names, folks, because there is a circuit for these. There is a circuit for these fishing rodeos because they'll start with John Charles, and by the end of July, they will have made the circuit.
Listen, Larry, we've had some young ladies out there and young men that really know how to fish. And they've won multiple years in this, you know, and I don't want to ban them.
But no, you can't ban them.
They're going to be able to open up a store here before long with all the equipment they've got.
But then again, this is a fun event. Again, it's held at Ketchum Lake, right off Farm Road and Walnut Grove, which now, since the interstate is all messed up, Walnut Grove is now part of the interstate system. You know, I mean, people.
No question.
I mean, they're flying by, and if they can, they're going in a lane that's not a lane. But you go by Ketchum Lake, you can't miss it. It's one of the. You know, when I first came to Memphis back before Thomas Edison was here, that you know there were a lot of lakes where you could go, you know, and fish and pay. There's not one like that. This may be the only one. I don't know of another place where you can go anytime you want to. Has a bait shop there, and you pay to catch what you catch. Now I know that it can get out of hand. John Charles doesn't mind this, of course. Before you know it, you got about 5 or 6 big old catfish, and you're paying a little bit.
Had a young lady that came to the fishing rodeo one weekend, and her son won it, caught a lot of fish, and so she came back the next weekend because he was hooked, caught a lot more fish, and then she was ready to go out the gate and. She found out that there's a charge to this, you know. You do have to pay for them when it's not in a fishing rodeo, but these kids caught a lot of fish. And in the 11 to 15-year-old, the first place with the longest fish was 22.5 inches long, was Russell Mark. Most fish caught in that rodeo was Brian Gibson with 20 catfish. So
20.
It was unbelievable. It was one of those days when everything was working right.
We've had some of those, haven't we?
And we get several calls into the regional office about Ketchum Lakes. You know, it falls in that category we refer to as a catch-out pond.
Yes, catch-out pond.
Okay, and they have the ponds where they're fishing. In those catch-out ponds, they have a permit. You don't need a fishing license.
Absolutely.
But then they have couple of other lakes out there that have the regular game fish in it. That if you're going to catch, keep the bass and the bluegill, you'll have to have a fishing license for that. It's just the catfish.
The catfish
under that catch-out pond
because
permit
you put these catfish in there. I mean,
we do, and we had stocked this lake with 3,000 pounds of catfish the day before. Well, 2 days before the rodeo. But what it does, there are still a lot of other catfish already in the lake.
Oh yeah,
it stirs them up, and then they really go to biting. And I tell you, it's just I've never seen so many catfish.
Well, it's just amazing. And again, we appreciate John Charles Wilson. At the events that they put on, you know, that's one of the things. Folks, if you haven't been to the Agri Center and seen what they do out there, it's like Ducks Unlimited. That whole little section right there is a major part of Memphis. And I know the Agri Center, you think about the events that they've got, and we wish you nothing but success. You'll ride a tractor around for a while. Don't worry about it. But you'll still see John Charles out there, I'm sure. That he'll be strolling around, checking on things. Let's take our first break on Fishing Rodeo Saturday. Not taking your calls today. No open mic Saturday today. I'm sorry. We'll be back hopefully in July. We don't really know.
We'll talk stink bait there.
We're going to talk stink bait in a while. Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790.
You can find out